Hi, good evening. Welcome to Business Live. Coming up in tonight's bulletin, Center for Plant Medicine Research claims it has some herbal medicines that can cure some symptoms of coronavirus, but yet to come out with a general solution. Emergency Society of Ghana calls for private-public partnership arrangement to salvage the increasing cases of coronavirus. Also tonight, the Ministry of Finance waives value-added tax on alcohol and 2 other ingredients to enable local pharmaceutical manufacturers to produce more hand sanitizers for the public. It's been 25 years of supporting your businesses. My name is Darryl Kwao, and we've got the details after this break. Tonight, Deputy Executive Director and Principal Research Officer of the Center for Plant Medicine Research, Dr. Alfred Ampuma-Appiah, claims for now his outfit has some herbal medicines that can cure some symptoms of coronavirus, but is yet to come out with a specific medicine. He notes that the center is also collaborating with some other persons who claim to have made inroads in coming out with a solution. Dr. Appiah was speaking earlier on the marketplace.
We are looking at some of our products that we will use to manage some of the symptoms in case we have serious infection in Ghana. With regards to the symptoms, we already have some products that can manage if the respiration becomes a major problem. We have some products if there is, in addition to the coronavirus, maybe somebody's immune system is down because of malaria or so, and then we have some products for pain. So we have products that can manage some of these symptoms, but not the virus itself. For long-term search for a product for this condition, we are working with our collaborators to look at screen potential plants with antiviral properties, and that will be a long-term project. But now, like I said, the emphasis is on what we can do immediately to handle some of the symptoms if we have a serious spread in Ghana. Already we have a few products here that can handle some of the symptoms. Then we are also talking with all our collaborators, looking for more potential herbs that can handle. We are also working with our collaborators to encourage people to use various simple herbs that can boost our immunity as a nation. You know, when this infection occurs, the people that come down with very serious symptoms are those whose immune system is down. So if we can also make sure that we are living a very healthy life, eating good food, moving away from these junk food and others, and make sure that we have good rest, we exercise, then we make sure that we would have very good immune system to be able to handle this. Even if we are infected, it may not kill us, we may not have serious symptoms.
Meanwhile, the Emergency Society of Ghana is calling for private-public partnership arrangement to salvage the increasing cases of coronavirus. Speaking to Live News, Acting President Dr. Osei Kwame said he believes the move will cushion government's efforts to effectively fight the virus. He says increasing reports of lack of PPEs across the country is hampering the delivery of professionals.
After contacting several of our members, all over the country, we realized that it was becoming increasingly a problematic issue of them accessing certain PPEs. Most of these hospitals and clinics, other than the major ones, don't have access to PPEs. They don't even have access to other infective preventive control measures like alcohol hand wraps masks, and all other things that they would need. And it's as if Ghana is sending soldiers to the war front without giving them equipment and the logistics to fight with. I think PPP, public-private partnerships, because the government alone cannot shoulder this burden. This is a disaster. It's a health disaster. And in terms of its impact on the socio-economic burden of the nation, it will overwhelm the nation as well. This is the time private people are supposed to come in. If we look unconcerned and we sit for the government to shoulder the burdens alone, by the time we decide that we are coming in to help, it may be too late. Lives may be lost. People may be, people may have all sorts of diseases and may not be able to function, and then the economic productivity that we talk about may be nowhere to be found. I think the private sector should come on board as quick as possible. They should be willing to participate and help the public sector as well as government to help shoulder this burden. It is not a disease for the government. This is a disease for the whole country.
While many people have besieged the KNUST Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences Faculty in desperate search for hand sanitizers, the development has led to the patrons acquiring the commodity at a slightly higher price. Love FM's Kwesi Deborah has more in this report.
Following reports of cheaper hand sanitizers being sold at the KNUST Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences Faculty, people thrown to the place to get a bottle. Though initial reports of 600 milliliters of hand sanitizers going for 15 cedis were later found to be untrue, the patrons were overwhelming.
Buy probably 5 bottles, and the reason is I trust my faculty, I trust my people. I know that they're going to use the best of ingredients, the best of formulations, so that's why.
When I came, I can see the quantity is less. And people are here. We have a lot of people around who are even trying to get some and they are not getting. So we are still waiting in case we'll get.
Okay, so over there, I think they are selling bigger bottles for a different price and then smaller ones for a different price. But then you can see over there, the bigger ones have longer queues, you get it, and then the smaller ones has this let me say shorter queue. So I decided to join the shorter one to get the smaller ones. It will be very difficult to get the bigger ones looking at the number. So I joined the smaller ones to get 3 bottles home. So that is why I got the smaller. This is actually 10 cedis for one.
Okay, for their price, their normal prices as compared to the first price. So I think the ones here are okay. They are cheaper than the ones out.
Professor Berko Penyanto is Dean of the faculty.
Well, for more than 1 year now, the Faculty of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, we have a production unit that is into all kinds of products. Sanitizers, disinfectants, washing soaps, cleaning soaps, and all that, and all things. So our standards are good. So we said that let's now produce in large quantities. Make sure we keep our standards and make sure we make it more affordable. As a social service, we think the price should be as low as possible so that the average Ghanaian can afford. That is why we are saying that our 500 ml, which used to be 22 cedis, though it has changed to 25 cedis because of the cost of galenicals. Yeah, all of a sudden, alcohol, the price of a dram of alcohol has shot up. Other ingredients that we use in preparing the gel, the gel has also gone up. So we said, well, let's add a little to it.
Meanwhile, as the nation struggles to find means of producing hand sanitizers and other protective and essential items to help prevent the spread of coronavirus, the Eastern Regional Hospital has already positioned itself to produce its own hand sanitizers for local and commercial use. The hospital says it first took the decision in 2018.
They started production manually and later acquired an industrial machine for that purpose. Since 2018, the hospital has been producing its own hand sanitizer for official use. Somewhere last year, they started receiving orders from some health facilities in the eastern region. It is believed that the alcohol concentration in their hand sanitizer is one of the best. Since the outbreak of COVID-19 and subsequent shortage of hand sanitizers in the country, the hospital seems to be cashing in. Kweku Obri-Yebua is head of the pharmacy department.
As a hospital, we saw the need to have hand sanitizers in all our wards and other departments. And so in 2018, management decided that we should do local production of hand sanitizers to, for use internally. So that's why initially we're doing manual production. You have to really stir it well to get the mix, and realized it wasn't working. So we went ahead and got the homogenizer. The ingredients, they're available. The only problem with it is that you would have to go as far as to Kumasi for some of them. Okay? And then we get alcohol sometimes from Somenya. Yes. But give and take, in a day we can make 1,000 bottles of 500 ml.
He said the pharmacy department have not had rest since last weekend. According to him, many state agencies and private firms have trooped in to make orders. Currently, they are producing about 2,000 bottles for the National Identification Authority to supply to 8 field staff working in the eastern region. The hospital says if government support them with seed capital and other equipment, they can produce to feed the nation in this crisis situation.
The place has been quiet until recently, Friday, when the news broke about coronavirus in Ghana. And since then, we are not losing sleep. We've been working almost every day. Saturday we worked, Sunday we worked. If we'll be able to import our own product, it will help. That is one. So that we can make the projections and import the bottles. We're not able to get very good bottles with dispensers at the top in Ghana. The ones we have, they are not good quality. I got my bottles from China. So that is also one area that anybody who wants to come in can help us with. And then, like we said, mechanization of the filling of the bottles and labeling. That's also another aspect. So basically, that is it.
Maxwell Kudako report for Joy Business.
Well, another important development we want to update you on. The Ministry of Finance has waived the value-added tax on alcohol and 2 other ingredients for production of hand sanitizers. In the same vein, the Food and Drugs Authority is also given a 24-hour service to all pharmaceutical companies. Odilia Ntiamwa reports the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association is expected to flood the market with many sanitizers by Monday to avert the current rush for the commodity.
I've been sitting with various pharmaceutical associations after the president made the appeal for local production of essential personal protection equipment.
Were there to be a surge, we have not got there yet, but were there to be a surge in the incidence of this pandemic in Ghana, we would all unfortunately discover that we are very naked to deal with it. And I felt that you, the leaders of the pharmaceutical industry in our country, together with some of the leading bankers here, the regulators of the industry, officials of government, and we can come together in this coalition, we can then begin to address these deficiencies in a really systematic and programmatic manner.
An earlier announcement of $100 million for the prevention and containment of COVID-19 from the president shows from these interviews that I have conducted that government does not have the money.
At my prompting, the Minister for Finance has made available the CD equivalent of 100 million United States dollars to enhance our coronavirus preparedness and response plan. That is to fund the expansion of infrastructure, purchase of materials and equipment, and public education.
We've all heard that government has given $100 million, but yesterday we met the finance minister. Well, they have a commitment to get 100 million. There's a difference between we have 100 million and we are sitting down. I don't think the 100 million is sitting down, but they are working very hard to make it available. Some available. He mentioned about $35 million to be easily available, but we are not waiting for those things. It's a call. We have to really see what we can do. Once it comes and it helps, that is okay.
The current situation from the 30 manufacturing companies under the Association of Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Companies currently have the capacity to produce prevention personal protection equipment and sanitizer.
We've agreed that the material that we have, which we are going to use for producing medicine, we are going to allocate them to produce hand sanitizers.
Ghana will not move past this stage successfully, and that is why the $100 million would have been needed.
Unfortunately, once it becomes serious and you move into the pneumonia level, then you need a real treatment. Those products, some have been banned from UK, and India is restricting some materials.
Government owes service providers who use pharmaceutical companies. The pharmaceutical companies indicate if government pays this money, it will change a lot.
Currently, I must say that we have contract with the service providers. And the service providers also have contract with NHI. What we want is for the service providers to pay for the supplies. So Ministry of Finance is going to raise bond that is going to pay for the outstanding NHI claims. Then they will also make sure that they pay on a monthly basis to the tune of almost 70 million Ghana cedi to the service providers every month.
This may be Ghana's chance to look at being a pharmaceutical hub for at least West Africa.
Most of the French-speaking countries do not have manufacturing facilities, and we can be providing the services to them. As at now, if you look at infusions, mostly the Ghanaian companies export to most of the French-speaking countries, and that is why we expect government to increase his interest in local manufacturing so that we can make Ghana the hub for West Africa.
Government has, however, shown some level of commitment to the sector in the past. 9 companies are expected to benefit from some 300 million cedis by close of year from the Exim Bank.
When I met the president, he said 302 million cedis is what he has allocated so far, and he said he has paid 192 or 196 million. But we are all at various stages, so we need them to, at least before the end of the year, if these facilities can be given the funds to complete so that Ghana can boast of new facilities that meet international standards to be able to supply Ghana and also start exporting. That would be very good for the country.
The Ministry of Finance has promised to also take taxes off the 3 main ingredients for producing hand sanitizers. Food and Drugs Authority is also contributing its quota.
We've agreed with FDA, the Chief Executive of FDA, that when we submit samples for registration, it will be done in 24 hours. Kina Pharma was submit a sample of a hand sanitizer to FDA, and we expect to have the approval by Friday. On Monday, we are going to give out more than 1,000 liters of hand sanitizers to be donated and given out to hospitals, clinics, and even to the presidency.
By Monday, there will be a glut for sanitizers, but will this support for local manufacturing just end at the corona vanishing into thin air as many wish it will? Currently, Ghana produces only 33% of its drug consumption needs.
Well, in other news tonight, the Ghana Revenue Authority has locked up Apollo Steel Ghana Limited at Pung here in the Greater Accra region for a 6 million Ghana cedi tax default. The amount is said to be without penalties, expected to be calculated later. Debt Management Compliance and Enforcement Unit of the GRA says the company has failed to make payments since 2018. Despite several engagements between the parties, the steel company failed to honor its promise, hence the closure. There's more in this report.
The action forms part of measures taken by the GRA to retrieve money due to the state. Leader of the team, Alpha Sananu Hosu, tells Joy Business the company reneged on its earlier promise to pay a certain amount.
We have been authorized by the Commissioner General to seal off the premises or the factory of Apollo Steel because of a default in paying a tax debt. So that is why we are here this afternoon. We are talking about 6 million Ghana cedis without penalties. My understanding is that the debt has arisen since 2018. So they are to immediately cough up the 6 million now in banker's draft, and the place will be open for them. There was an agreement that they make a part payment of a certain amount. And as of this morning, they were unable to make that part payment. So a decision was taken that the place be locked up.
Alpha Sananu Hosu says the GRA wants this particular action taken to send a strong signal to companies in similar standing.
Well, they are still pleading that they still want to talk to the authorities that be. But we are here to obey instructions. We are the law-obedient officers and we take instructions. Our instructions are simple. Go take a banker's draft of 6 million Ghana cedis or lock up the place. What I've been asked to do, we have done it. It means our authorities are sending a signal to other companies in a similar situation that this exercise can be executed on them also.
GRA says until the necessary steps are taken to address the tax default, Apollo Steel Ghana will remain closed.
All right, and that's Business Live tonight. Thanks for watching. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Enjoy your weekend and stay safe.